All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for December 13th, 2021, Monday night. I thought we had a good hour-long discussion on the THARP Institute podcast. I posted the video already in the foundations course. I think it was that good. The subject was due diligence and the secret sauce, what it takes. And thought it went pretty well. The link is also in on Patreon too. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, I suppose. Thought it's a pretty good piece of work. Paying some real tribute to the work that Ken H. and Luke have produced for us, along with Phil and Griff. And you already know their work, so I don't have to tell you how good that stuff is. That was a chance to share it with the world. I see, was Luke in here? Yeah, that's already been viewed 250 times. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is what happens after that initial beginner's luck, and it starts to taper off, and we start thinking about it. Now what? Yeah. So we live in that space right there. Always becoming, never arrived. All right, let's take a look at market health check today. So today, we did not get the follow through that we were hoping to see. We did not get to see this follow through. In fact, micro gap down and then sold off, and really is now forming this kind of sideways choppy price action for the last 4 or 5 days. After one good little burst up, out of the last sideways chop, it's chopping again. So it really is trying to contend with this previous choppy area. So I have us in a critical state now, trying to figure out what's going on, what's up. So I'm ready to do a bi-directional move, either direction, right out of this nice narrow, about a 50-cent risk box. To me, this is what it looks like is going on. So I have a nice tight trade frame box around the close, and I'll be ready to go north long should it get above 467. But if it breaks below today's low, I'm ready to be short, and all the way through the middle of the drag. I'll pick up a second position if it breaches the spine of the dragon, which is also coinciding with the 2.5% sell-off. That's where I'll pick up the second position. If it gets through Z -1 in the bottom of the dragon, at the bottom of the dragon, southern skin, I'll pick up a third position, because now it's going to come down and test the Z2 and the PSAR and all that. So I want to get postured for a large move to the south in that way. To the upside, I'm ready for the intraday trade that takes us back to the top of the channel, all the way up to about 469.5. That's a tradable move. But if it should break out above the 10-day high, which is also this peak right here, excuse me, then this is where I'd add a second position, like at 471. And then if it should break above the all-time high, that's where I would add a third position at like 473.5, en route to the Z3 excursion up there north of 480. So that's how I'm going to get along. The least expected move, in other words, the most surprising move of all, would be if it stayed inside that nice 50-cent narrow channel, for 3 or 4 days. So there's going to be some tradable move that comes out of that thing right out the gate tomorrow. So that's how I'm going to play that. Let's take a look at the sectors. All right, so today the S&P was off 0.9. The Dow was off 0.9 as well. The Qs were worse at minus 1.44. The Russell was off even more at minus 1.76. And then the emerging markets just got the big smack down at minus 3%. And that's just getting smashed. Treasuries were the resilient ones today, up 1.5% to get back above the 150 mark at plus 1.5. The VIX was up 4%. So let's look at the sectors that outperformed. Commercial real estate, the two lumbers. Materials, blended commodities, ARC Genomics. They all lost money, but they were better than the market. Now the actual winners: agriculture, wheat and precious, biotech, consumer staples, and then the VIX. Outperforming companies: TX, the steel company, Cliff, the steel company. That's just about it. So not much to choose from for tomorrow. Most everything else was suffering today. Today was a disappointment to many hopes and dreams. So we had finance was off 1%. Oil down 1.13. Tech 1.5. Clean energy 1.6. ARC innovation 1.7. Moonshots 1.8. Consumer discretionary 2.6. Lithium, fangs, and energy down 2.7. Mexico 3.5. Bitcoin futures 3.9. Blockchain 4.25. Oil exploration 4.5. Marijuana 4.5. Bitcoin 5%. The large cap blended crypto 5.5. Brazil 7.5, and Ethereum minus 9.6. So big time getting smoked. You just see how much has really drifted into the daily winter, just getting smacked. Only Apple is on monthly summer and daily summer, but not for long. All right, let's take a look at the trades. I'll tell you what, man. What I should have done was not recorded my briefing. I should have just let them watch you guys trade today, because while I was in there flapping my gums, Matthew crushes Alcoa for 7R. So let's take a look at that one. Excuse me. Set up now. All right, so we've got we had a slight gap up, which rolled over, came through the VWAP. He gets it when it comes through the Bollinger Band mean, probably gets a bad fill here, uses the edge of the dragon for his wrist box. makes a nice, almost like an SSC exit for 0.7. This cannot even get to the VWAP. And then notice the high, the lower high, that thing is rolling over. We could probably have gotten that here because you had the PSAR flip. This was reasonable, but I'll take that one as a Z3P. It was initially in the money, then took the exit at the PSAR flip. I like the presence of mind to not instantly get long. I would have been tempted right here and would have scratched. But once again, this got capped by the RL270 with a PSAR flip, could not get to the VWAP. Now, this is where I want you to get short right here, because you have all these descending highs and the rejection of the VWAP. And when it crosses the dragon once more, you can get short right here. Although this one is almost like another Z3 breakout, but that's another R. That's a good exit to cash 0.12. We could get short here. That's still pretty good. That's a new low of the day. I like getting paid. This is getting better now. You're getting closer to the PSAR flip with a nice tight stop. Getting paid. Plus 0.9. Now this is kind of a relaxed SSC. You know, the pure SSC is here. But to be honest, there were enough failures on this thing all day that waiting for that little extra move to get across the Bollinger Band mean, I don't mind that at all. That's a good risk box. You got what was available with like a sniper exit almost. And that's good because you got a counter trend trade. And if this thing was going to work, it should get through the the RL270. It should break out of the Z3. It should get to the VWAP. The fact that it doesn't makes that a good exit. I'd have been really tempted to be short here and absolutely short here, where you got the Z3 pinch. Oh man, is that any good? This is still pretty good. That's a good exit for another 0.5. Z3 pinch. This is better. Good scratch. So when that thing bottoms out and doesn't fail further, and you're in the afternoon, it's now time for the VWAP magnet trade. And what do we get? The VWAP magnet. You get good scratch, better reentry, good second position, great exit for 4.8. Another nice reentry on the Z3 breakout, which basically scratches. That's the VWAP magnet. You got all of that pain and suffering on the way down. And then as guys unwind their positions, this was the failure to fail. There's your VWAP frame, and you crush that one for 4.8. Boy, that's really good. That is really good. Managing the monkey mind. Appreciate that monkey mind. It keeps you alert. Nice job. Luke with Cliff. $6.3. Trades 1259 to 1270. There's the gap up. Rolls over. Breaks through the dragon short. Lets it come all the way back to a scratch. Oh, rabbit. Look at, man, that one thing went all the way across the river and halfway to the Z2. Let's get paid in here. Take half. Reasonable effort to resume. Good. I'd like to see you get back on it right here as soon as it comes through the dragon. That would make this a scratch instead of minus 0.4. I got to stop talking good about you, man. Good effort. You're front running the test of the VWAP that doesn't work. Good. I think you could be short right there. You wait for the PSAR. That's fine. This could have been a second position. That could have been a second position or a third position. So you get paid 1.6 and it pays for all the sins. I think a good effort for the other one, I'd like to see you scratch like you did. Then that becomes your reentry. But you did get this reentry. Good sniper for 0.8. One short. Could have been a second one. That's a good 0.8. I like this one this is like a kata 2 here. Higher lows, and you're aiming for the return to the VWAP. It didn't, I'm sorry, that's this one. It didn't give you that. It failed immediately. And then you immediately re-entered. Could have had this one crossing the VWAP, probably a little gun shy. You took the kata 2 re-entry or the second position. That's good. And a great exit. And you still picked up one on the back end for 1.1 and 5. So you got your mind right and came in with 6.3. This wasn't terrible, but there were some attention to detail stuff in there. Once I think you hit your stride in here, that looks pretty good. 6.3. There was maybe a potential for 10 in there. Did I miss your Russell? Just a minute. Yeah, I'm sure I missed that. Hang on. Here's 5.8 in the Russell. Since we're on Luke, we'll just beat him up. Gap down. This is kind of the MMRB. I think you can be short in here. That's still pretty good. This is running away. Reasonable 0.5. I'd like to see you short here. That's still pretty good. That sort of takes out the bottom of the RL10. That's a collapsing dragon. That's reasonable. This is a reasonable shot. Good exit, better reentry. Second position after it breaks through the Z3. That's a good second position. And then that you get about 3 on that one instead. If you get the better entry. This is a good shot. This is a better consolidation. And you're noticing that when IWM makes the transition from big down to sideways before it starts going up, this little chunk through here, it takes longer to reverse IWM than it does Cliff. Cliff would have been much more of this, but the Russell takes a little more time just because there's more people trading it and they have more people have to change their mind. But here's the Z3 pinch breakout. That's nice. I like a second position here. That's really good though, because it's pretty close to the VWAP. Great sniper exit. So that's 5.8. So that's about 12 plus R on about a B day in terms of quality. So pretty good work. Getting back into your rhythm. Here's IWM. This is on also on 2 minute. And this is just a matter of proficiency and practice. Gets paid. 2 pretty good fractional losses. I'd like to see you get paid a little more in here after this sell off. This is a good a collapsing dragon on the dragon right there. That's good stuff. Here was a re-entry that was possible. Good kata 2, but notice when kata 2s work, that the SSC was better on the PSAR flip. I like that scratch. I like that shot as well. I'd like to see this as a Kata 2. There's a nice entry. There's a nice entry. There's a nice entry. There's a good entry. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4 possibles. Good sniper exit, and then a couple good efforts. And this one was just end of the day. There's no reason to be trying to get that unless you're doing the futures. No, I don't mind you not trying to trade in that last little 15 or 20 minutes. That can often be pretty volatile. So there was some work to do inside here. And that looks more like resilience and repetitions. I thought this was pretty good through here. Take a look at Luke's as well. Since you're both trading IWM and you're both on 2 minutes, that's a nice compare and contrast. NRVA, I don't know what these guys do, but NVIDIA, sorry. We know what they do. The price of being there. Here's a good SSC. I don't know that that's late. I think that's, you're within 1 bar of perfect. That's reasonable. And that's a good exit on the rollover. It didn't get all the way to the VWAP where you want it to go. So that's get paid. Reasonable. This is a Kata 2. So you have a low, a higher low, and it crosses. This was failure to fail. So that's a great entry on the PSAR flip. And you got paid for 1. Nice. That's a reasonable place to try it. You've already broken below this this piece, and you're testing this one. I like that. That's a good scratch. That one works. And then here's the collapse that you want. Notice you got the Z3 pinch. That's the entry you want right there. And you get paid nice on that one. So that's pretty good. Learning to get paid. Your monkey mind is questioning a downward day. It's down. Notice the slope of the VWAP and the slope of the RL 270 and the whole slope of the river, and the whole market today was getting smoked. Let your monkey just see what's going on. Give him a banana. Good day managing trades, creating just a little bit more confidence, and you made 1 hour to learn. There you go. Just right. Okay. Bullish volatile today, returned to the oversold. Still cautioning us about this fragile market, fragile volatile. Be careful. Walmart, Coke, Procter, Johnson & Johnson, United Health, all of the staples were good today. Only a handful of dojis. 3 good auto framers. We highlighted Dow Chemical for its weakness last week, and today it got crushed for -2.5. There's more danger and damage there. Intel at 3.4 and Merck at 2.5 to 1. Dow Chemical, or DuPont, I should say. Worth framing, especially if we get a second day of failure in a row. In the ETFs, 2 Only two dojis, plenty of auto framers to work with. Asia less Japan got smoked. Energy was weak. Exploration and energy itself. Real estate as the defensive play is there. That's a nice alternative to all of the other ETFs right there. Greens across the board, quietly getting it done. Auto framer for mechanical trading. I like treasuries still 3.4 to 1. And they had a good day today. Watch for them to have another good day tomorrow if the market shows any weakness. I like Brazil, Frog Champion 2.7 to 1. Easy. Oil and treasuries in the squeeze. You might look at wheat and precious because gold was such such a tight squeeze as well. And the S&P and Microsoft both near the top of the squeeze. So there's a breakout waiting to happen to the downside. So go back and take a look at that market squeeze, that critical state box we drew about a 50-cent bracket around the open tomorrow. A lot of things in the spring and the winter, so everything is below the line. Walmart showing a little bit of strength here, along with the staples, Procter & Gamble, Coke. Look at all these little winners inside here. Only Microsoft and Cisco, the traditional techs, showing some strength. Defensive plays like utilities, healthcare, and consumer staples. And treasuries starting to make their move, the defensive play. And you can see what's getting crushed. That's where the weakness is. So if you need something to get short, those are your targets. Don't stop and reverse the strong ones. Get short the weak ones when they start falling. All right, that's everything we got for today. Let's get this published and posted, and we'll be ready for tomorrow. Really nice work today, guys. The VWAP magnet happens in the last hour of the day, Susan. That's when all of the leveraged positions intraday are getting unwound, so they can reduce their cost of margin. It's usually the last hour.